Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Board certified family physician here in the US. Today's episode, I want to have a real conversation with you about something that affects your quality of life, your independence, and your dignity as you get older. Something that determines whether you're still walking on your own 2 feet or relying on a wheelchair. I'm talking about building strength and rebuilding muscle as we age. Let me ask you something first every morning. Do you find yourself doing the same thing without fail? Boiling yourself 2 eggs, or maybe you make sure to drink a big glass of milk, eat a piece of lean meat, and in your head you're thinking the experts all say that as we get older. To prevent falls and build muscle, we need high quality protein. I'm eating my eggs, drinking my milk. I've got this covered. But here's the hard truth. You are chewing that meat, and yet you can still feel it, can't you, over the last couple of years? Your strength has been slipping away. You go to the grocery store, walk a little further than usual, and your legs start trembling, your thighs feel weak. You sit down on your couch, the one that's a little low, or you're sitting on the toilet after using the bathroom. And when you try to stand up, you have to push down hard with your hands on the grab bar. Or brace yourself against the wall just to get upright, even something simple like twisting open a water bottle cap, something you used to do without thinking. Now your wrist just doesn't have the strength anymore. So here's the question. You're eating what's supposed to be the most nutritious food, eggs, milk, lean meat. So why does it feel like your muscles are deflating like a leaky balloon? Why are they shrinking day by day? If you're already past 65, and especially if you're over 70 or 75, then today I need to tell you something important. And I say this with responsibility as your doctor when it comes to building muscle and strength. Eating eggs alone is no longer enough. Now, that does not mean eggs aren't nutritious. They absolutely are. Eggs are still fantastic, but the real issue isn't the food. It's you, it's your own body, it's your aging muscles, which no longer absorb protein the way they did when you were in your 40s or 50s. In medicine, there's a term for this, a very important term for older adults. It's called anabolic resistance, or what I like to call protein resistance. What does that actually mean? Let me put it in the simplest way possible. As you cross that 70-year mark, your muscle cells age right along with you, and they become, well, let's just say they get stubborn, they get slow when you eat those high quality eggs, milk, and lean meat. Those proteins are supposed to go straight into your muscle cells to help you rebuild strength. But those aged muscle cells, they basically ignore the protein. They don't receive the signal to build muscle anymore. The door to the cell is locked tight. So what ends up happening, all that nutrition you worked so hard to eat because your muscles won't absorb it, ends up either passing right through your system and out the other end, or worse, it gets converted into fat that piles up right around your belly. You're putting the good stuff in, but your thighs and arms stay thin, your legs stay weak. So when we're facing this situation where no matter how well you eat, you just can't seem to build muscle, does that mean we have to just sit back and watch ourselves get weaker? Watch ourselves lose the ability to walk, end up bedridden? Absolutely not. After years of deep research by top medical and nutritional scientists, experts have identified 5 incredible foods, common everyday foods that are probably already in your local grocery store, that can actually reawaken your aging muscle cells. They open up the pathway for protein absorption. Again, they help your muscles start doing what they're supposed to do, take in nutrients and rebuild strength. These 5 foods are not expensive imported medicines. They're not fancy protein powders that cost $80 a tub. They're regular dried fruits and nuts that you can find at Walmart or your local supermarket for just a few dollars. If you combine these 5 foods with your morning boiled eggs, the absorption effect can be 100 times stronger. Your muscles, they can actually plump back up like dry soil finally getting rain. So today, I'm going to walk you through these 5 natural protein activators from number 5 all the way to number 1. And I promise by the time we get to the top 2, especially the number 1 and 2, you'll understand why some researchers, including teams at Harvard Medical School, have called these muscle stem cell activators. If you want to get back the strength in your legs, I'm asking you to stick with me through this entire video, because what I'm sharing today can help you protect something that matters deeply, your ability to walk independently as you age. Let's get into it. Number 5, dried red dates, jujubes. When I mention red dates, a lot of people immediately think, oh, I know those. They're for women's health, for blood. But very few people realize that dried red dates are actually a hidden, powerful natural protein reserve, and they are an absolute powerhouse for older adults trying to build muscle. Here's a number for you. In 100 grams of dried red dates, there's about 3.2 grams of high-quality plant protein. But that's not even what makes them special for muscle growth. What puts them at number 5 on this list is that they have 2 superpowers, 2 things that even eggs can't do. Superpower number 1, they are an oxygen delivery service for your muscles. Think about this. If you want your muscles to be strong and powerful, what do they need most when they're working? Besides protein, they need oxygen. Without oxygen, your muscles feel like they're being strangled. They can't breathe. That's why your legs feel heavy, like they're filled with lead. So, how does oxygen get deep into your muscles? Through your blood. And what builds healthy blood? Iron. Here's the thing: after age 75. A lot of older adults actually have mild anemia, low iron. So, even if you're eating plenty of eggs, your muscles are starving for oxygen. They can't grow when they're gasping for air. Dried red dates contain 5 times more iron than eggs. Eating them is like hiring a fleet of delivery trucks to carry fresh oxygen all the way to your fingertips and toes, letting your muscles breathe deeply again. Superpower number 2, they are the muscle messenger. This is the real secret, the hidden gem inside red dates. They contain a compound called cyclic AMP. You don't need to remember that name. Let's just call it the muscle messenger or the door knocker. Remember protein resistance? We talked about how your muscle cells lock their doors and won't let protein in. Well, this messenger's job is to run straight to your muscle cell, knock hard on that door, and yell, "Hey, delivery, open up. There's protein here." Without this knock, the door stays shut, and all that protein you ate, it just sits outside and gets wasted. So the red date is essentially the one holding the key or doing the knocking that finally lets the protein inside where it belongs. How to eat them for maximum benefit. You don't need a lot. Just 5 to 8 dried red dates a day is enough. Why dried instead of fresh? When dates are dried, the water evaporates, and the iron in that muscle messenger compound become highly concentrated. Dried dates are much more powerful than fresh ones for this purpose. Here's the best way to eat them. I call it the golden combination. Every night before you go to bed, grab a small bowl, put 5 dried dates in it, pour in a little room temperature or warm water, and let them soak overnight. In the morning, those dates will be soft and plump, and the nutrients will have released into the water. Now, when you sit down for usual breakfast with your boiled eggs, eat those soaked dates along with your eggs and drink that water. That's what I call the perfect match. Protein plus the door knocker, the absorption effect, it doubles at least. Number 4, goji berries. Most people eat goji berries thinking they're good for the eyes or for kidney health, traditional stuff. And honestly, if I didn't tell you this, you might go your whole life without knowing that goji berries are actually a severely underrated muscle cleanup crew. Let me give you a number that might surprise you. In 50 grams of dried goji berries, there are about 7 grams of protein. That's more protein than the same weight of eggs. But that's not why they made this list. What puts goji berries at number 4 is something called goji polysaccharides. To understand why this matters, let's look at what's going on inside your muscle cells as you age. By the time you're in your 70s or 80s, your muscle cells have spent decades doing their job, and over those decades, they've accumulated a lot of harmful waste inside them. In medicine, we call these waste products free radicals. They're like trash that builds up inside the cell, taking up space and causing damage. So what happens when you eat protein? The protein shows up at the muscle cell, but the cell is completely packed with trash. There's no room. The protein can't get in, so it just gets turned into fat or flushed out. That's where goji polysaccharides come in. Once they enter your body, they go straight into your muscle cells and act like a professional cleaning crew. They sweep out all that accumulated free radical trash, they clear out the space, and here's the really amazing part. Medical research has shown that goji polysaccharides can actually activate a special longevity gene called sirtuins that helps your cells repair themselves. It's almost like taking a 75-year-old cell and making it act like it's back in its 50s. So now, with the trash cleared out and the cell rejuvenated, when protein shows up, there's room, the cell is ready, and that protein can finally go to work building muscle. Think of it like your smartphone when your phone gets slow. It's not because it's broken, it's because the storage is full of junk. Goji berries are like the app that clears your cache and makes everything fast again. How to eat them to clean out muscle waste. I recommend about 20 to 30 grams of dried goji berries a day, and timing matters. Don't eat them in the morning with your dates. Instead, aim for the afternoon around 3 o'clock or 4 p.m. Why? Because that's the time of day when your body's energy naturally starts to dip, and it's actually the perfect window for clearing out cellular waste. Now, the way you eat them matters too. Put them in a thermos or a mug, pour in warm water, and let them steep. Drink it as an afternoon tea. But here's the critical part. Do not throw away the soaked berries. They're plump and full of nutrients. Chew them up and eat them. Or if you have good teeth, you can just eat a handful like raisins. Chew them well. That's how you get the highest absorption of the goji polysaccharides. Number 3, hawthorn berries. This one acts like a fire department, putting out the hidden fires in your muscles. We've already got the muscle messenger from the red dates opening the cell doors. We've got the cleanup crew from goji berries clearing out the trash. Logically, now the protein should be able to come in and build muscle, right? But for people over 75, there's one more extremely dangerous and invisible enemy. If you don't deal with this one, all the protein in the world won't help you. It's called chronic low-grade inflammation in medicine. Some experts call it inflammation plus aging. This isn't the kind of inflammation you get with a fever or a bad infection. This is a slow, smoldering fire that burns quietly inside your body 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this fire does something terrible. It constantly breaks down and consumes the nutrients you're eating. Think about it this way. You've got your protein, you've got the messenger knocking on the door, you've got the cell cleaned out. But while all that is happening, that slow burning inflammation is eating up the protein before it can ever be turned into muscle. A lot of older adults know what this feels like without even realizing it. On rainy days, your knees ache, your fingers feel stiff and swollen. You go to your doctor, they run blood work, and they say your C-reactive protein, an inflammation marker, is a little high. That's the hidden fire. As long as that fire is burning, your body will keep wasting protein. Your muscles will never get the chance to grow. So who puts out this fire? Number 3, hawthorn berries. A lot of people think hawthorn is just that sweet tart fruit you eat when you've had too much food, but in modern nutrition science, hawthorn is considered one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory foods out there. It's packed with flavonoids, especially one called rutin. These flavonoids act like a fleet of fire trucks loaded with high-powered fire extinguishing agent. They rush into your body, go straight to the muscle tissue, and start spraying down those smoldering inflammatory fires. There's actual research showing that older adults who consume hawthorn regularly see a significant drop in their inflammatory markers. Once that fire is out, the construction site is safe, the protein can finally stay put and start building muscle. Studies suggest that muscle synthesis can increase by 20% or more once that chronic inflammation is brought under control. How to eat hawthorn to put out the fire. I recommend 6 to 8 slices of dried hawthorn or 3 to 4 fresh hawthorn fruits a day. But timing is everything here. Do not eat hawthorn on an empty stomach. It's very acidic, and on an empty stomach, it can irritate the stomach lining, especially for older adults. The best time is about 1 hour after lunch or after dinner. That's when you take a few slices of dried hawthorn, put them in a cup, pour in warm water, and drink it like a tea. Here's why this timing is brilliant. Not only does it help with inflammation, but the acidity also helps digest the protein you just ate. It's a 2 for 1. You get better digestion and the anti-inflammatory effect traveling through your bloodstream to your muscles. Number 2, walnuts. We've opened the door with the messenger, cleaned out the trash, and put out the inflammatory fire. But for older adults, there's still one more physical barrier to getting protein into the muscle cell. Every one of your muscle cells is wrapped in a thin outer layer called the cell membrane. When you were younger, that membrane was soft and flexible. Protein from your bloodstream could slip right through and get inside the cell without any trouble. But as you age, especially after 70, that membrane changes. It gets stiff, it gets rigid. It's like the door is open, but the hallway has narrowed so much that nothing can fit through. The protein shows up, but it can't squeeze in. So what do? Number 2 on our list, walnuts. Walnuts do contain some plant protein, but that's not their superpower. What makes walnuts absolutely essential is their high concentration of omega-3 fatty acids, high quality omega-3s. When omega-3s enter your body, they act like a premium lubricant. They go straight to those stiff, aging cell membranes and soften them. They restore flexibility. Suddenly, the membrane goes from being like hard, brittle plastic to being soft and spongy again, just like it was when you were younger. And once that happens, the door is wide open. Protein can rush in like a flood. The absorption barrier is gone. There have been studies that tracked older adults who ate walnuts regularly, and here's what they found. Even when those adults ate the same amount of meat and eggs as everyone else, their muscle retention was over 30% higher. Why? Because their cell doors were open. Their bodies could actually use the protein they were eating. How to eat walnuts to soften the cell membrane. Walnuts are high in healthy fats, so moderation is key. I recommend about 4 to 6 walnut halves a day, which is about 2 to 3 whole walnuts. That's plenty. Now, how you eat them matters tremendously. First, eat them raw, or if you prefer, lightly roasted at very low temperature. Avoid the candied walnuts, the sugar-coated ones, and especially avoid walnuts that have been deep fried or roasted at high heat. High temperatures destroy the delicate omega-3 fatty acids. Once they're destroyed, you lose that cell softening benefit. Second, spread them out. Don't eat all your walnuts at once. Have a couple in the morning around 10 a.m., maybe with your boiled eggs, and then a couple more in the afternoon. This keeps the omega-3 levels steady in your bloodstream all day long so your cell membranes stay soft and receptive. Number one, dried longan. Now we've arrived at number one. This is the ultimate. This is what researchers, including top professors at Harvard Medical School, have called the ultimate activator of muscle stem cells. Why does dried longan take the top spot? There's a powerful scientific reason inside your muscles. There's something called satellite cells. Think of them as your muscles' construction crew, a team of specialized workers on standby when you were young. If your muscles got a little worn out, those satellite cells would immediately spring into action. They'd multiply, they'd repair damaged muscle fibers, and they'd build new tissue. That's why you could exercise and get stronger so easily. But after 75 or even earlier for some people, something happens. Most of those satellite cells go into a deep sleep. They become dormant. They're still there, but they're just not working. Now imagine this scenario. We've used red dates to knock on the cell door. We've used goji berries to clean out the trash. We've used hawthorn to put out the inflammatory fire. We've used walnuts to soften the cell membrane so protein can get in. The protein arrives, the nutrients are there, but the construction crew is asleep on the job. Nobody's there to actually build the new muscle. The materials are sitting there, but the workers are snoozing. That's where dried longan comes in. Dried longan contains two powerful compounds, adenosine and special polysaccharides, that act like a super alarm clock. They go straight to those sleeping satellite cells and wake them up. Harvard Medical School conducted a study that really caught the attention of the medical community. They had older adults, people in their 70s and 80s, eat a specific amount of dried longan every day for several months. And what they found was remarkable. These older adults showed significant improvement in leg strength, their walking speed increased. The time it took them to get up from a chair got shorter, and when they looked at muscle tissue samples, they found that nearly 1/3 of those dormant satellite cells had been reactivated. They were awake, they were working again. That's what dried longan does. It blows the whistle. It wakes up the construction crew, and once they're awake, they start consuming that protein and rebuilding your muscle tissue, fiber by fiber. How to eat dried longan to wake up your stem cells. I recommend about 20 pieces of dried longan a day. That's after removing the shell and the pit, just the dried fruit flesh, about 30 grams. Why dried and not fresh? Because when longan is dried, the adenosine and polysaccharides become highly concentrated. The effect on waking up satellite cells is much more powerful than with fresh fruit. I recommend splitting them up, have about 10 in the morning. You can soak them in warm water to soften them, eat the fruit, and drink the water. Then have another 10 in the afternoon. You can even combine them with your goji berries and red dates in a thermos to make a powerful afternoon tea. I call this the dream team combination. You're waking up the cells, cleaning them out, and knocking on the door all at once, bringing it all together. So let's summarize this complete muscle building framework at the foundation. You're eating eggs, meat, and other high quality protein. That's the raw material. Number 5, dried red dates. Act as the oxygen delivery service and the door knocker, opening up the cell so protein can get in. Number 4, goji berries are the cleanup crew, sweeping out the free radical trash that takes up space inside your cells. Number 3, hawthorn is the fire department, putting out that chronic low-grade inflammation that would otherwise burn up your protein before it can be used. Number 2, walnuts are the cell membrane softener, making sure the path into the cell is wide open. And number 1, dried longan is the ultimate alarm clock, waking up your dormant muscle stem cells so they can actually build new muscle tissue. Your 30-day muscle activation plan. I know that's a lot to remember, so I've put together a simple 30-day plan. Grab a piece of paper and write this down, or take a screenshot. Step 1, breakfast, eat your usual boiled eggs. At the same time, have 5 dried red dates that you soaked overnight in water. Eat the dates and drink the water. Step 2, mid-morning around 10 a.m. Have 2 raw walnut halves. Step 3, after lunch about 1 hour later. Make a cup of warm water with a few slices of dried hawthorn. Drink it. It helps digestion and fights inflammation. Step 4, afternoon around 3 p.m. This is your afternoon tea in a thermos or mug. Put about 20 grams of dried goji berries and 10 pieces of dried longan. Add warm water, let it steep, drink the tea, and then eat the soaked fruit, chew them well. Step 5, evening, keep dinner light and simple. Don't add extra dried fruits or nuts in the evening so they don't affect your sleep. That's it. No shots, no expensive supplements. Just a handful of common affordable foods you can find at any grocery store. If you follow this plan consistently for 30 to 60 days, I want you to pay attention to your body. Try standing up from your toilet or your couch. Notice if it feels easier. Try walking up a flight of stairs and see if your legs feel steadier. Listen to what your body tells you. 3 important warnings. I have to give you 3 critical reminders before you start. First, if you have diabetes, dried red dates, goji berries, and dried longan all contain natural fruit sugars. If your blood sugar is poorly controlled, do not blindly follow this plan. You need to either reduce the portions by 2/3, meaning only 1/3 of what I recommended, or take this plan to your endocrinologist and ask them to help you adjust it. Only try this when your blood sugar is stable and under control. Second, if you have kidney disease or heart conditions, red dates and longan are both high in potassium. If you have kidney problems, especially if you're in the early stages of kidney failure or if you're on certain heart medications that affect potassium levels, do not start eating these without talking to your doctor first. Your primary care doctor or your nephrologist needs to approve this. Third, if you're sick or have signs of inflammation like a fever or sore throat, red dates, longan, and walnuts are considered warming foods. If you have a cold, the flu, a fever, a sore throat, or mouth ulcers, pause this plan. Stop eating these foods until you're fully recovered. Then you can restart. A final word, real health isn't something you wait for. It's not something you find in a miracle pill. It's built day by day, meal by meal, by the small choices you make, that red date you eat in the morning. That handful of walnuts, that cup of goji berry tea in the afternoon, your muscles aren't gone, they're not dead, they're just waiting, they're sleeping. And with these 5 foods, even if you're 75, 80, or beyond, you can wake them up, you can rebuild strength, you can walk without relying on a walker. You can stay independent, you can enjoy your life without being a burden to your children. If you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, share this with a friend or a family member who's been struggling with weak legs or low energy if you're ready to start this 30-day muscle activation plan. Drop a comment below and say, I'm waking up my muscles. Let's do this together. This is for educational purposes only. Always consult your own doctor before making changes. If you're dealing with any health concerns, please schedule a visit with your primary care doctor. I'm here to help you understand the science, not replace professional medical advice. Wishing you strong legs, steady steps, and good health. I'll see you in the next video.